the Awaken Your Ego podcast with Joanne and Ariana. We are a health podcast that explores topics to do with biohacking and self-discovery.
We are also on the self-discovery journey, and we want to attract listeners that are doing the same in order to help them realize they're not alone.
Ego differs from conventional medical spas and wellness centers. We believe that the secret to maximizing one's sense of self is in addressing the entire person, inside and out. We provide state-of-the-art aesthetic treatments as well as lifestyle management and holistic health solutions. We aim to please with our efficient and friendly customer service and guarantee with our scientifically proven alternative therapies and lifestyle optimizations that every patient will leave our care with a boosted ego. Our goal is to help our patients realize the necessity of self-care and to encourage them to prioritize their health and wellness goals. When we make self-care and confidence a priority, then we're able to bring to light our potential for happiness and growth. This podcast is a way to expand our reach so that we are able to spread the word on the importance of self, the whole self, inside and out.
This podcast is for educational purposes only. Please reach out to your medical provider if you have questions about any of the treatments we discuss to see if it's a right fit for you. Now on to our show.
What is this?
All right, Suzy, you're up. It's rapid fire question time, we're going to put a minute on the clock, and then you're going to try to answer as many questions as you can. So I'm going to ask a question. You're going to answer the first thing that comes to your mind, and then we'll just keep going.
Oh, okay. Man. Okay. And there's no wrong answer, right?
No, it's all about you. Yep. All right, we're going for it.
Okay, go.
What's your favorite drink?
Hendrix and tonic.
When are you most productive?
Afternoon.
Who is your inspiration?
So many. My kids.
Aww.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
What's something new happening in your life?
Oh, shoot. Triathlon? Love.
There you go. Ooh, okay, love. We'll talk about that later.
Next episode.
What your favorite cake flavor?
I
love how that's
plain.
Hard. What is plain? Hold on. Okay. What subject were you worst at in school?
Cooking.
What scares you?
Nothing.
Who do you love the most?
You guys.
Oh, I love it. What's your hobby?
Keep moving. Reading.
What's something you like doing?
Oh, dang.
How did I do? I stalled.
You did fantastic. You won, actually.
Did I?
Yeah, you totally won. There's no win in rapid fire, but you
She
won.
knows how to talk to me. She's like,
you're succeeding. All right, that was perfect.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode, or today's episode of our podcast, where we have Suzy from KW Recovery.
Hi.
She's so excited to be here.
I am. I really am.
No, we're excited to have you. So what are some things you've been working on lately?
Well, personally, I'm training for a triathlon. So that's been interesting to I thought I knew how to swim. I really didn't know how to swim. And professionally, I think, I always have something going on, but.
The triathlon, that's the swimming, running, cycling?
Yes. Swim, bike, run.
How many miles?
So I'm doing a sprint. I'm starting off slow. That's just to get my feet wet. But open water. So this one's in Long Beach. We're going to do, it's about 750 yards. So it's about a half a mile open water.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little, yeah. And then about a 16-mile bike ride and a 5-mile run. So just learning, the whole triathlete thing, learning to transition from one sport to the other after you're really tired from swimming, and then getting on the bike and then running. So it's been fun
awesome.
though.
That's an awesome really little challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. I try to challenge myself every year for my birthday. It's my birthday month when I'm doing it. And so.
That's right. Last year you went to climb half then?
Yeah, that was interesting too. That was lots of fun.
Oh, that's really cool. That's a cool annual thing that you do. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very physical. Kind of assume that of you, huh?
A little bit. I try.
How did you get started in the recovery industry?
So I studied athletic training and biomechanics, and then I worked in the PT field for about 14 years. So I've always been in the realm of like recovery tools, and so yeah, my study was exercise. It's a form of exercise science, sports medicine. So I did a little bit of ergonomics, and then I always found myself coming back to like patient care or working with clients one-on-one because I enjoyed it so much. And so I started researching different, I really dove into different certifications as far as I was interested in breathing techniques. And after, honestly, really dove into it after I lost my dad. I noticed I kind of did a lot of reflecting that he was in pain all the time with like orthopedic surgeries. And no matter how many surgeries he had, I didn't see him move more. And I thought something needs to be done about that. Had he had like a regular routine where he could go and feel better every so often so that he could continue moving. But I noticed his quality of life, no matter how many back surgeries or knee surgeries or shoulder surgeries he had, it didn't improve his overall lifestyle. So I really started just researching, and then as clients came back to me asking about, hey, my son played soccer all weekend and played in 5 tournaments and he doesn't feel great. Can you recommend X, Y, and Z? And the more questions I got, the more I realized there's a missing link. And so I've always incorporated it into my lifestyle. I never gave it much thought. And then I realized it was eye-opening to realize that not everybody did that.
That there's like a huge need.
Yeah. A place to go. Some people can, for some people, and I've heard it many times, they'll go sit in front of the ocean for, every week, every other week. And that's their form of recovery and grounding and kind of hitting a reset button. But we find all these different methods, and really there's no one to really coach us along the way or give us access to the things that I saw as an athletic trainer, all elite athletes had access to. So it was trying to combine things for physical recovery as well as just overall well-being, and pushing the fact that people require maintenance. We require maintenance.
No, I think you're 100% right. Like, that recovery is that missing piece in our current healthcare system. And that's awesome that you realize that. But what pushed you to kind of go for it? Like, to create your own like entity that's pretty niche? What like motivated you to just like create a brick and mortar that people can come partake in some of these things?
I went mad for a little. No, I'm just kidding. I said, forget fear. No. You draw up the plan, and that's all fine and dandy, and then you take the next step, and then that step went well, and then it was like, oh, we're really doing this, Suzy. Like, we're gonna do it.
Falling into place.
And so, it was interesting because, I'm not really following a particular business model. So we're building all these methods and strategies from scratch, and it's a lot of trial and error. But I think when you're driven by something you really believe in, and I know it sounds kind of cliche and people say it all the time, but it really, really, like, had I not believed in this product as much as I did, there's no way you go through the uncomfortable of being that unsure of this business model working. Because for 6 months that we opened, we got calls that were like, what do you guys do? And where does this fit into my life? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do? But you get through those little rough patches, and then you take the little wins, like, somebody telling me, thank you so much. I get to come in and I feel better every time I leave here. And we multiply that times, 100, and then you keep going.
No, that's awesome. And honestly, to me, that shows that like you believe in yourself. Like you believed in yourself enough to take a leap into that unknown. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And now you're benefiting a lot of lives. Like that's cool. Well, and like you said, how like a lot of the services you offer, what services do you offer currently at KW?
So currently we offer whole body cryotherapy, infrared sauna, Normatec compression, percussion tools. So we do one-on-ones, we do posture assessments, kinesiotaping, body work that includes, different forms of cupping. Ice bathing, Mark Pro, which is a form of E-stim. I always like to say Mark Pro's like TENS on steroids. Everybody says, oh yeah, they see the electrodes and they're like, I've done TENS plenty of times. And I'm like, yeah, that's so 1980s. Try this one. And so we get great results. So in short, we categorize our services into 3 different areas: sport recovery, overall wellness, and pain management. So there's a little bit of all of those in each one of our services.
No, that's awesome. Well, and those are all services, like you said, usually like elite athletes have access to, and you've made it affordable for the normal person, to do on a daily basis. But I feel like, how have you seen that those types of services help the normal, normal, because elite athletes are their own breed, but it's like, how would that help like someone like me?
Yeah. The athletes at heart, it was easy to market to them, right? They saw the products and they were like, yeah, this makes sense. Either took them back to high school days or college days. But I think we can all agree that adulting is an extreme sport. And so what we've really wanted to break the stigma that recovery is just for athletes. We need recovery just from our day sometimes. We have 12-hour nurses that are working 12-hour shifts. We have police, fire, warehouse workers, delivery
sitting
drivers.
At a desk all day. I mean, even that.
Sitting at a desk all day that, you've been exercising your mind, but you go home and you take yourself out of that stressful environment in hopes that exercising your mind shuts down, and we find that it doesn't. And so there's a saying that you cannot replenish yourself in the same environment that stresses you out. So it's one of those things that, anybody that's a mom, I make a joke that I sit in my car as a form of recovery before I get in, right?
It's true.
I do that too, amen.
But it's true, because the moment I walk in, right, that environment, it's like, oh, I'm going to sit down, but let me just throw in a load of laundry, or let me just get these dishes done, because I can't relax unless that's done. And so, but meanwhile, my kiddos are getting not full mom, right? Because my mind is already, instead of being like,
they're
hey,
getting
how was your
depleted
day?
mom.
They're getting depleted mom, exactly. And so we really wanted to break that stigma that recovery was just for athletes. And I feel we've done that, because athletes probably make up about 45% of our memberships, and the rest are want to be athletes, right? I want to be an athlete. Like, I play rec softball. Does that make me an athlete? And people joke about it, and it's like, no, yeah, you get beat up. You go to tournaments. I play tennis, or I go swimming, and I'm trying to stay active. How can I do that and still, be able to walk the next morning? So, or our warehouse workers that we have a lot of, they're walking on cement floors 12 hours a day. And they come in, maybe do some whole body cryo and then some Normatec, and lights out at the lab. If you're snoring, that's a success for us. So we give you little tidbits of wellness, I like to say. And and make at the end of your week, you're not so depleted. And that's really what we want to do, is be able to make recovery accessible, affordable. And it's the only way. We knew that our price point had to be right in order for people to do it repeatedly. Recovery is not a one-time session. This is something that you should be able to incorporate into your lifestyle. And there's not a one-size-fits-all. Some people can only get in once a month. And that's okay, because if we can get you once a month and then teach you things that you can do on your own, we're going to take advantage of that time we have with you. And then you're going to take it with you, and we'll see you next month.
Well, and you've created memberships, which I think is genius for your services, where, like you said, it allows people to come in multiple times in a week, even if they wanted.
Yep.
I feel like, how have you seen that consistency helps patients? Because I feel like, if anything, that's what the memberships do. It allows a person to be very consistent.
Right. And reality is, well, depending, our athletes will use it multiple times a day, and a week, and as they get closer to playoffs, or as if they just had a tournament, they may be in more that week, or if they had a really busy week, so theirs will fluctuate. And with our adults and active adults, we notice that you can come in and our schedules go all over the place, right? I can make a program for you according to your activity, but we all know that things get in the way, and sometimes I run into them at the coffee shop and they're hiding. They're like, I haven't been in. I'm like, it's okay. How are you? Good. Okay. So we notice that the membership allows for the liberty to, hey, I'm counting on this every month because I'm important enough to set that time aside. And when you have that, it doesn't mean that you're going to be there 5 times a week. You can. Some months are tougher than others. And I need it, sometimes I need brain tap every single day. Other times it's like, I'm trying to find, a time slot where I can fit that in. And that's me, that I have the services right there, but that's the reality. And we're not going to push you to be there X amount of times a week. I think the most beautiful thing you get out of a membership is that you learn a lot about yourself. How do you respond to each service? You've come to us not knowing a ton about our services, but after you've been a member for 4, 5, 6 months, not only do you know about our services, you're coming to us less, and you're dictating your own wellness, which is really what we wanted to do. It's like we're putting you in the driver's seat of your own wellness. So instead of giving yourself an excuse that, like, I woke up this morning and my knee feels like crap, and I'm probably not going to go for my evening walk. Well, instead, you can book a Mark Pro, maybe a cryo, because that's worked for me in the past. And maybe I will make it to that evening walk, or maybe I'll do it tomorrow morning. Yeah. So,
so it's like keeping them accountable
and giving them tools,
keeping them accountable, and giving. We're one toolbox. We're one tool in your toolbox, and so the other beautiful thing, right, about our memberships is we introduce you to our affiliates, who we believe just encompass and complete your toolbox, and so. Eagle Wellness being one of them. So
how would someone get started? Like, if, let's say, they're interested in a membership, but they don't know how to go about that, where would you recommend they start?
Good question, because we get that one a lot. So we created the appointment called First Timer. So you don't have to, I feel, Anika, back at the lab, she's done a great job. Shout out to Anika. She's done a great job at putting pretty good descriptions of our services on the website. But if you still don't know where to start, First Timer is the appointment to book, because we know it's your first time. We'll show you around, and after chatting with you, so you get kind of like a mini assessment, we'll determine which service you should start with and then come up with a plan.
And I think that you do a great job in that assessment. You know, when I did my assessment with you, I didn't realize how bad my posture was, like how I hunch over. And, you know, she's telling me this and I'm like, this makes sense. That's why I have pain, you know, and I really like that, you know, you're very thorough with it. She showed me pictures. She literally drew like little arrows and CC, you're supposed to be like this and you're actually like this. And then it's like, now let's work on you. This is what we can do. And, you know, I did like that you introduced me to all the different modalities and I got to learn which one I loved and which one I
did
hated.
not. Yeah.
I am a rare case where I have a hard time relaxing.
Yeah.
Suzy will tell me that. So she has introduced me to all of these different tools that, you know, they do help relax, some more than others. Some kind of made me like, this
Anxious.
hurts. But, you know, it's true. It's like, even like what you said, like, yes, you have a little bit of resistance now because you're so tense, because you've been living in this normal way, which is like in pain, you know?
Well, no, and what I'm hearing too is like she brought into your awareness, like you don't have to live like this.
Exactly.
It's like, and you thought, oh, this is how I am, whatever, I guess this is it. This is as good as it gets. But she's saying like, hold on, there's more there. We can improve. And I think that's what's really cool is you help people realize like, oh, I don't have to have knee pain every day. There's options out there before surgery or before even injection. It's like, I don't know. I think that's really cool.
Or even just, you know, like we address fatigue. We address sleep issues. I can't tell you how many times we get people like, oh, waking up, you know, 15, 20 times a night or having that many disturbances isn't normal. It's like, well, no, are you waking up tired? How many times? You know, that's always amazing to me. But and we're like onions, like we're peeling back at these layers. They're not going to be all done at once. But we've trained our nervous system is in this mode that it's our normal, and you don't realize that maybe you don't know that you are always thinking, or you are always worried, or I'm not able to shut down, or you know, I have this tension in my neck and it's contributing to my headaches. And
that's me.
Me too.
And then we just give up, like, I have a headache again.
This is
it's
normal.
just this is it. But we really haven't been given, you know, we have coaches on how to we have that down on how to make our biceps stronger and pose. And
I was going to say, how to get what? You looked at me.
I know, Miss Workout.
Her posing.
But, you know, nobody, you know, we know these terms. We know we should be working on ourselves, but we're never given a clear path. And that path is, you know, doesn't look like this. It looks like this. And it's a lot of trial and error because all of us, we have the same anatomy, but not the same physiology. We respond to things differently. She didn't like Mark Pro. I have people.
Who are you?
I know.
That are like, turn it up. I love that sensation.
Like, turn it down.
Yeah.
This hurts.
Yeah. She's like, Suzy. I'm like,
Suzy laughs at me too.
So, you know, and I knew that when we designed the lab, that we couldn't have the two, you know, if I had picked my top two favorite services, but who's to say you or Joanne that those would be their favorite services. So we wanted to offer a multitude of services just because everybody's perception of, you know, external stimulus is different.
Well, and even like, for example, like I tried the cryotherapy there before and it blew my mind. I left, it's a quick thing. To me, it wasn't painful or annoying. I just thought it was pretty cool. But then when I left, like my mind was so clear. Like I just felt like, wow, I can think. Like this is it had such a big effect on my mindset and like how I was thinking and processing. And I was expecting everything just physical, like within my body, you know, oh, that'll feel better. And it's like, no, it directly affected my brain and how I was thinking. I'm like, and that was really cool. That mind body connection is there.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite thing about cryo. I think if I need a mental recharge or reset, I'll do brain tap or some alone time in the infrared. Or I'm sorry. Yes. But if I want to relieve brain fog, and do it before a meeting where I can retrieve my words, cryo it's a full body systemic response. So I have others that use it to manage their chronic low back pain. So
what would you say is the most popular recovery tool at the lab? What's the favorite?
That's a tough one. Probably infrared sauna. It's a tie between infrared sauna and Normatec compression. Infrared just feels good, and you're in a quiet room, and it's got so many health benefits. It's not
what
steamy.
kind of health benefits, now that you're talking about it?
Well, it helps with the infrared sauna we have is full spectrum, so it's got near, mid, and far, and those are all just different infrared rays, and they're invisible and they penetrate our body, which is the beauty of it. So we get tissue healing, accelerated tissue healing. We're increasing circulation at a much deeper level, not just superficially, like whenever we exercise. It actually has the ability to give you like a mini fever because it can increase your core temperature by a degree or two. So if you're not that I'm welcoming people with the sniffles to the lab, but when you're not feeling your best, even with allergies or anything like that, we do it on a regular basis. We're exposed to toxins all the time in this room, outside, what we put on ourselves, fragrances, everything. And so I think people really, they forget how much our body is already working for us. So the more we give it to do, if we could appreciate that for a second, doing something like infrared sauna, getting rid of some of those toxins. You release toxins 20 times more in an infrared than you do just by a regular sauna or sweating, because it's a deep heat. So if we start tallying up, everything that our body does to us, taking those little times of recovery would just, it's like a no-brainer. But we most of us are not aware of how much our body's actually doing for us. Not once, other than keeping our heart beating,
Well, I love how you said it's a form of self-care. Like it truly, I feel like everything at your spot is like showing love to your body. Like, hey, I love myself enough to take that time out to enhance, what you have going on. I think that's a good point.
And we're working towards creating those healthy habits, right? Sometimes I get my moms coming in and they'll bring their little one, like the sauna. The beauty about the sauna is we have this little space right next to it, and it's kind of a reading area with pillows, and the room's darkened. So we're trying to give you, there's saunas with like Netflix TVs inside of them, and I'm like, you could do that at home. Like, just sit, just be still. Sure, if you need to check your phone, fine, but you'll find, at least even myself, I'll start off with maybe shuffling a song here and there, but then before I know it, like, I'm enjoying not having to process anything,
just being.
And then, so what I was getting at is some of our moms have bring their kids, and I love it. We love seeing it because we are already introducing the next generation to, mom took some time to say, mom's getting froze today. She's putting herself through cryo or going to the sauna. I'm going to sit here. And they're either on an iPad or reading or whatever, but they're going to remember that. And now our generation, for a little while, it was kind of selfish to take that time away from being a parent or working or household duties. But those little eyes, for them in 10, 15 years or whatever, it's going to be like, oh yeah, that's just what you do.
Yeah. And they're little sponges too. Like you said, even just by watching, like for me, I love taking my kids with me to work out even. And I'll verbalize like, oh, mom is stressed out. Exactly. Today I'm working out. I have to work out because I feel stressed and I want to relieve that. It's never like, oh, my body, I want to make it hotter. It's always like, this is for health. Like,
Right.
And I like that they view it as that habit. It's like a sacred self-love thing, and it helps mama be a better mama, a better person in general.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah. And that's what, same with my daughter. She's like, Mom, why do you work out? And I tell her, because I want to be strong when I need to carry you, or I need to, do things for you. Mommy's building muscle. And she's like, oh, I want to do that too, you know?
Well, and it's funny because the other day I was giving my daughter a hard time because she was, what did she say? Like, I was just talking to her about eating healthy, right? Like, that's not a healthy option. And she was like, Mom, are we on a diet? She straight up said that. I'm like, first of all, where'd you hear about a diet? But I was like, no, babe, like we're being healthy.
Right.
And then it opened up this beautiful, and mind you, she's 6, but it opened up this beautiful conversation to like, food is fuel. Like being healthy it's a lifestyle. It's not a short-term diet as most people look at it. And it was just very cool to see how it changed her mindset from like, oh, are we on a diet? Why I can't eat candy or whatever, like other kids, and to like, oh, I want to be healthy. I want to live long. Right. I want to have energy, and now she views it like that. And I'm excited to show her that way.
It's just, making healthy choices, right? Yeah. And then we're not robots. It's like, we're going to veer off every so often, but and making that healthy choice versus saying
you're without.
Right. You're without.
Yeah.
I think with my parents growing up, like you didn't really have time to complain about physical pain. Right. Like my dad works in auto body. He was always hurting, but he never verbalized it, same with my mom,
just accepted it,
single parent, and so I think for me, I kind of thought like, like that's part of life. You get older, you start having aches and pains, it's just because I'm growing, or
and shame on the people that call themselves older at 30. Like, do not accept to feel like shit at 30, please.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
The struggle's real, though.
But when you're 15, 30 is like, oh, yeah, I expect to hurt more. And we don't recover as quickly as we did when we were 15. Those are the people that need a little extra help, 30 and over. But, don't accept to feel that way. Is what I'm saying. So.
Like your little magnet.
Yeah. What's your magnet?
I know. I was like, am I supposed to say a bad word here? It says, stop feeling like shit. Recover often.
Love it. That's so awesome. That's the overarching message here. Stop feeling like shit. Recover often.
It's not normal.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Suzy. I think that's all the time we have today, unless there's anything other.
No, I think that's
pressing.
it. I think we've answered all the questions.
All right. Well, look forward to hearing more of Suzy, because we're going to have her on more and more to keep us up to date on recovery.
So how would someone book? What's your website, Suzy? Instagram handle?
kwrecoverylab.com is our website. Instagram is kw_recovery.
And you can book on your Instagram,
right?
You
can book on both of those, yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Awaken Your Ego, a podcast that explores biohacking and self-discovery. We hope you follow us on Instagram and Facebook to stay up to date on what we're working on in your area.